Everybody's saying that they like my style. Wanna know how I do it? I smile. While you were out there saying hey, hi, hello, I was getting dressed up in shades of yellow.
Welcome to episode 43 of the Lovely Job podcast. I'm Leah Spicer-Pownall. I'm the marketing manager of Miss Bush, and this is
Marshall. I'm the MD of Miss Bush.
How are you doing, Emma?
Great, actually really good. I've had a really lovely weekend and yeah, just good. And because I've been training really early in the morning for like the last week, today I was like, no, I'm not going to. So I also had a little lay with the cats, cup of tea in bed, do you know what I mean? And, that just, had a little scroll through the questions that we'd got on Instagram. So yeah, it was good. Good weekend.
Oh no, did I ruin your lie-in this morning?
No,
Sounds like I'm ready to go early.
I mean, laying in for me is not, I've already had a shower and everything else. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a bed dweller. I can't bear to lay in too long. I just quite like it sometimes, like Marshy's up and early this morning. He's working, doing some work for someone in Southsea. I just quite like the fact that I'm sort of aware he's gone, sort of 6:30, and I've got another hour.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about?
Well, I think I'm going to thread the things into like some of the questions that I'm going to talk about, but we actually did get really good questions, didn't we?
We did. We had really good questions. So we just go straight into them.
Yeah, I think go straight into them. Don't let people wait till the end with us just faffing around talking
I
crap
know.
about our actual
You
lives.
have to listen to us first to get to the actual content.
Okay, give us the good stuff first.
One of them that I thought was a really good question. So someone that's one of our brides has messaged to say they're getting married on Friday, and other people seem to be more stressed and nervous than she is. And do we have any last minute advice for her before the wedding?
I mean, I think the thing is with, I can remember this like so clearly from like, God, how long ago was I married the first time? 32 years ago? That's long, isn't it? Yeah, I can even remember that being a thing like 32 years ago. There's a lot of moving parts to a wedding, and if you don't have a planner, you have to put a lot of faith in other people doing the things that they're supposed to do. And it is really remarkable, actually, because when your actual guests turn up, they just kind of, people have been to so many weddings, they know what they're supposed to be doing. You don't have to micromanage your guests. But I do think, you've got to acknowledge that anxiety presents differently in different people. And as the bride, or you're part of the couple, I think you've probably had a lot of, you've got a lot of oversight on your suppliers. You've researched them, you've chosen them carefully, you've had your menu tasting, you've probably had a pre-engagement shoot, you've had a hair and makeup trial, all of those kind of things you've sort of chosen and picked. And I think most people will go into their wedding having complete faith in their suppliers. So I think that probably for the couple, this is like almost, kind of, what was the analogy? Remember like when Katie Rocco did the London Marathon, her husband said to her, like, the training was the work. This is the enjoyment. But weird, I feel like running 26 miles sounds fun to me. But do you know what I mean? It's like, the couple have already done the work. They've paid the bills, they've done the stuff. Do you know what I mean? And you've got probably anxiety, but in a really good sort of adrenaline way. But people around you probably suddenly realise that every time you tried to talk to them about your wedding, they weren't listening. Do you know what I mean? They're just like, what are we going to do? So I kind of think that what I would do generally, because I know people feel like this about when we get to events and things like that, is that, they don't really know what the moving parts are supposed to be. So I would probably just, for the sake of everybody around you, write a critical path, write a list of who all the suppliers are, put all their mobile numbers down, their Instagram handles, whatever you want to do. And just just plot this week out. Say what's going on, who's staying where, when people are arriving on site, and just be like, and just apologise in advance. They don't apologise because everybody else is getting stressed. They kind of need this. It's just be like, here's a list. Here's things I would like your help with. Here's things I don't need your help with, but just in case you're worried, they're like taken care of. And I think it's probably, that might highlight any kind of missing parts of things. And then also the other thing is as well, which is always the kind of other thing where people are flapping and going a bit mad around you, is that it's just one of those things like we've all learned through counselling, is like, even if you're the bride and it should all be about you, you have to be a good listener for those people. So just let them speak their anxieties without trying to wind you up. Do you know what I mean?
I love how diplomatic you are, because I would just be like, can you all just leave me alone?
Yeah, I would, you know, I mean, that would be
You're
your
very
first.
sensible.
They're very, it is quite, do you know what I mean? I think that's what your first impulse would be. But these presumably are people that you care about, you know, and it is acknowledging that their anxiety is a real thing. It would be like the flying thing with you. I'd be like, oh, just man up, get on the plane. It was like, well, it's not that easy. Do you know what I mean? It's like I have to process like anxiety my own way, or panic, or faff, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I've never in a conversation with you said, oh, don't be silly, just get on with it, or it's not something you need to worry about. You know, I mean, actually, there's quite a lot of times you've said to me, actually, Emma, you don't need to worry about or know about this. I'm like, good, fine, I won't.
Yes.
How does this bit of the computer work? Don't worry,
It's
don't
magic.
touch it. Don't touch it. Yeah, so I think there's that kind of thing. And also, maybe if people haven't got enough jobs to do, for example, and they're just like free floating around like loonies, then invent some jobs.
Give them something to do.
Yeah, give them something to do. I mean, one of the things that we always get asked about after a wedding is cleaning the dress. And this bride in particular has got a dress so incredible. I mean, literally. So what I would do immediately, if I was the bride, maybe I would get someone to get in touch with the photographer and say, this is the dress, this is the designer, this is the shop I got it from. If you were going to pre-tag anything on the day, I mean, I bloody want to see this, because this is, I think, our first real one of these going out. Obviously, can't say anything about it.
I want to go look at what she's wearing now.
I'll WhatsApp you, okay, and you can. I will tell you, so you know on WhatsApp what it is she's wearing. Okay. Anyway, so what I would say that I would say that you could give someone that job, and also the other thing I would give maybe a parent. I know, right?
Yes, this is great. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. And but the other thing as well with this particular dress is it needs some very careful post-wedding care. So I would be immediately Googling Terrington Birchett and lining them up, because that needs to come off your back and go into a box and go to be cleaned on Monday.
So do you want to tell everybody who took Terrington Birchett out?
Oh, Terrington Birchett are a wedding dress dry cleaners. They are our 999 service. So if anybody ever turns up for a fitting with makeup on or tan, which we do advise not to do, but we can't, you know, we're not running a military dictatorship here. And we get like, you know, a mark on a dress, or there's a mark on the dress from that before somebody's wedding. They are my literally like 999 express courier up there, spot clean it off, bring it back to us. They are based in Newark, so not close at all, but they are people that are adequately insured. They're in touch with every single wedding dress company in the UK, every shop. It's their absolute speciality. And so I can't stress enough adequate insurance, because there are so many times that dry cleaners have literally ruined dresses afterwards, and it's so horrific and disappointing. You know, even if you've worn it, you know, it's a treasure. So I think these are the people that you want to be, you know, pre-booking a collection from. And they say basically you get in touch with them, you pre-book a collection, your dress or separates or whatever you're wearing needs to be boxed up. So again, it might be quite useful to have someone that's having a general baseless anxiety attack to go and find a big box, you know, that they could then, so they know that they've got a job to do afterwards. Do you know what I mean? So that could be a good thing for them to do. But, you know, those are the kind of things that I would just say, just run through everybody's tasks with them. Yeah. And then, you know, I know that this is going to sound like some women's mag kind of thing, but go for a walk with them. If it's, say, your husband or wife to be, get in a bath with them. Marcia and I have always sort out most of our problems sitting in a bath. Too much of it, not in any way sexual, just sitting in a bath, usually with one of the, like, with a kind of one of those chillers by you with a bottle in, so you can have a little glass of something and sit in the bath and chew over problems. Do you know what I mean? Just do a guided meditation or some breathing exercises. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be good for everybody. They're always good for everybody. If you were anywhere near me, like, that's what I did. When Georgia was down, I got Kat, who's one of my favorite yoga teachers. He's like almost like a witch. Like when she talks you through the breath work, you just find yourself floating in a different plane.
Yeah,
which I
I've
love.
been doing a breathwork session on a Saturday in the morning recently, and it's an hour long of just breathing. And the guy said that you'll get more oxygen in that one session into your body than you would in an entire week, just from actually focusing. And it's so good for you. So
Yeah.
definitely.
So that I know I'm not even that woo-woo a person, but I'm just saying, like, those are kind of your natural body's down regulation tools that if you don't know how to use, it's a good thing to do it. I mean, when I was young, I couldn't really get my head around yoga. I was like so angry the whole time that I just wanted to punch people. And even the act of laying down on the floor, I couldn't even relax a muscle to like even lay on the floor. I was levitating with rage off the floor. But now I just find it really, really useful. So, you know, I think there is some good, so there's some practical things you can do to make people feel involved.
Yeah. Well, years ago, we said we were going to do something like that at the chapel, and we never did. We should do that. A wellness day. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be very nice. I still think I keep wanting to do all these things down here, though. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to at the chapel.
Yeah, by the sea. It would be nice by the sea as well.
Because if I went up to the chapel and started laying down, people would be like, sorry, can I just ask you something?
Yeah. Probably.
It's not for me, it is a very calm space, but it wouldn't be one where I would necessarily, if I was laying down, I'd probably see some kind of upkeep that needed to happen.
Yeah, you just got like a spider in the corner or something.
Like,
Get up on a ladder.
The skirting board looks a bit, So I think it wouldn't be the place, but maybe I should just take over the yoga studio down here, do a private hire. That'd be good. Anyway, so I can see it. Do you know what I mean? And also, like, you know, people, God, there's so many reasons for people to be anxious about weddings. Do you know what I mean? If you're a dad, you've got to do a speech. If you're a mum, then, you know, it's kind of like, you know, second starring lady, isn't it? Best supporting actress kind of role, really. There's that going on. If it's at home, oh my God, the marquee anxiety. Do you know what I mean? It's like
toilets, all sorts.
If you've got to travel, you've got to remember everything. I mean, we saw something recently with people where we sold a bride just a bodice or a skirt or something. I can't remember which way it was. And the bride said that she got to the wedding venue and one of the pieces was missing. And they had to get someone to go back to her house and get like either the bodice or the skirt of a dress.
It was the top, yeah.
Yes. So I'm like, there's a lot and I can see it. And also, I don't want to say this sounds really bad. Like, my children are adults; they can do their own thing. They seem to live quite well independently. But there is part of me that's forever a parent that I kind of assume they've forgotten something, or they've missed something, or they haven't anticipated something. And if it's parents around you doing this, then I think, you know, whatever age you are and however mature you are, and what, you know, captain of industry you might be, there's always a bit where like someone's going to be thinking, "Did you think about doing this?" It's like, yes. I thought about that. Yes. So I can see it. I just, you know, and part of that fervent, frenetic activity really weirdly feeds into that one of the other questions we got. And I thought it was really interesting that we've got, because we're peak wedding season now, absolutely peak. It's so interesting that we've now got kind of like real genuine concerns about things that happen around your wedding day. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, so the next question was post-wedding blues. So we've got somebody that has recently got married, and so they're in the opposite position of the previous bride.
Yeah, but then you've got all that adrenaline and all that excitement.
You've been building up for so long, haven't you?
All around you. And I know, for example, that this bride is one of our brides as well. There was a little sort of quite a last minute drama weight drop. So the sort of 11th hour, we had to get her back and refit the dress and things like that. So, you know, there is that sort of like, there is that kind of buzz and excitement and adrenaline, and it's like putting on a play. and you're all like, the cast and crew are all like, bonded, and it's all amazing. And then suddenly,
It's
you're
done.
like,
It's over.
it's done. I know. That drop in intensity is quite...
Well, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to say, if you've got the post-wedding blues, one of the best things you can do is send your wedding to us to feature on our blog. So you can spend a good hour and get a glass of wine, write about your day, share your favourite photos, and you get to relive it all. So that's my top tip. And then we can share it and everyone can comment and like look at how lovely it was.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like I do use that as a bit of a kind of like saying when anybody like emails me afterwards. I'm like, wouldn't it be fun for you to relive your day and talk it through? But saying that, I've also got a really amazing wedding I really want to feature that's just come into the inbox over the weekend, which is from Lily Porter, who worked for me years and years ago. She was one of our Saturday girls when she was a child, must be like probably 15, 18 years ago, something like that. And she was a COVID bride, so it was all set to get married in 2020. Classic COVID bride thing. Had a child in the interim and got married last year. So like the whole COVID thing and having a child and everything means that she took to her wedding anniversary, her first wedding anniversary this year, to be prompted to send her photos and her and her retweet. But I can understand that's like a COVID bride, that like nobody that didn't go through that can't like even deal with how that is.
No, and it's never too late to send your photos, by the way. You can send them a year later. You can send them like anytime. Like it's fine.
I'd be happy to see something from like the 80s and 90s if people have still got them. So
yes, I would love that.
Full set. Yeah, but I seriously think that post-wedding blues is a definite thing. It is like I've seen it across everything. People are just like, it's kind of hard. It's really hard to go from it being about you and being a bubble and being a star, and that is so right and so true, to then being like, oh, now what?
Oh, we've actually just had a message about this. I don't know who this is from. They've put my solution for post-wedding blues was not to jet off on our honeymoon straight away. Our honeymoon was 2 to 3 months later, so I switched my newly attuned organisational skills to researching and planning each day within an inch of its life. So throw yourself into the honeymoon planning instead.
Yeah. I mean, probably that's from Emily.
Oh, and Bride would be. She's changed her name, and I didn't know who it was.
Yes, she's the person that I did a little kind of interview with in Barcelona. She's great. She's got a shop in Scotland, Glasgowish area.
Scotland.
So yeah, she's one of my like wedding industry mates. I don't know what that would be like. That sort of virtual friend. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's loads of I mean, also the other thing that I love is I do, like on our fridge at work, we've got thank you cards with pictures of the couples on. I love those, and as much as I am just I would demand avoidance with thank you cards, it is something that people really appreciate. We love them.
Yep.
So there's all your thank you cards you could be doing. I don't know, we used to work really closely with a gift list company. We don't so much now, but I guess people still do get presents, I guess. So you've got that to thank, so yeah, I think
so we both messaged the same thing this morning about what not to do, didn't we? If you've got the post-wedding
funny, yeah. Literally is like, well, if you've got the post-wedding blues, what you don't want to do is go and open a wedding dress shop, or in fact have any wedding business.
No, it's not as fun as you think.
No. Otherwise we wouldn't call this the ironic lovely job title. No, so don't think I enjoy wedding planning / buying my wedding dress so much I'm going to open a wedding planning / wedding dress shop. And the other thing is, if you felt that anything was missing from your wedding planning, wedding dress shop kind of experience, think you can do it better. Do you know what I mean? I would give some direct feedback to any suppliers you didn't feel that did as well as they could have done, but I wouldn't go and open one yourself.
No. And that's not just for shops, it's for anything. Like, this is coming from someone that used to do wedding stationery. Don't do that.
Don't do that. I literally have like taken, you know how I go through phases of having jokes and things and catchphrases I use at the currently my current catchphrase is I'm the world's oldest Saturday girl, because that's the reality of it as well. And also like, you know, that there goes your summer and your Saturdays forever. So yeah, don't do that. Don't be so bereft that you and I just say anyone that's ever done some work experience with the thought that they might like to open a bridal shop has come to us and has never done it.
Well, I've looked on The Knot for tips for what to do with post-wedding blues, and I thought you'd like to hear some of them. One of them is go to marriage counselling, like straight away.
Man, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all very like old-fashioned. Settle into your new home, your newlywed nest together. Like, surely most people already live together.
Yeah.
Don't they? I think this is quite nice. They redefine your relationship with your family, so kind of like reconnect with them after the wedding. Because I guess they're all going to be feeling a bit, if they've been very involved, they might be a bit, I don't know, blue as well. Your mum might be a bit.
I think people's parents are generally quite giddy with excitement about how wonderful the whole day was. I would be giddy with excitement if I'd managed to off one of my kids on somebody else as well.
Yes. Yeah, and
like,
I guess as well, do things like, you know, printing photos out and making albums and things is quite a nice thing to do as well, because we don't often have printed versions of things anymore. That's quite nice.
Also, I mean, I'm assuming if you didn't have a content creator at your wedding, you could ask all your friends to kind of like share everything to like a Dropbox account or a shared Apple, whatever it is, iPhone shared album. And then you could create some reels. Yeah, and some little kind of TikToks or something, post thing. Or you could maybe, is there a sad TikTok kind of thing? Like, my wedding's done. You know, like how this whole, like, people getting ready, throwing a bouquet, and then there's bound to be some post-wedding.
Definitely.
You'd be sitting on your sofa in your wedding dress, just refusing to let that dream die. It's that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? There's bound to be. Leah,
if there's not, make one.
Yeah. Make a TikTok trend happen. There we go. That's what I would do. One of the things I would like, and I don't know what it's like if you've got two girls that marry, maybe you can use it in the same way. But what I really like about being married is like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm just gonna have to ask my husband. I've never had to ask my husband for permission for anything in my life, but I do think it's a really good get out of like a situation.
It's a good excuse.
So I'm just gonna have to check with my wife. Gonna have to check with my husband. So I think like using the word husband I think has huge amounts of novelty value to start with. It's like my husband, yeah, and I, but I think also like photographers, like I don't know if people do their albums now, but it is quite nice to sort out. Like quite often photographers do albums, which are good as well. So I think sorting out that kind of like admin, thank you cards, blog submissions to us.
Yes.
And dress cleaning again. So,
or you could plan a great big anniversary party for the following year. Just do one every year if you fancy it.
But and honestly though, it is a bit. You're just going to have to let that kind of like bittersweet feeling, just like you're just going to have to sit with it, because that's exactly what it is. Now, I know who this person is, and she lives on my island. There is no reason to be sad here.
No. Go hang out on the beach with your new husband.
Yeah. Get up really early, get some endorphins going, do a Be Fit with Billy class, go down Lano yoga, do a lay on the floor, do some breath work with cats. Do you know what I mean?
Have some lunch at the briny.
Have some lunch at the briny, have a look at the sea. You know, like there's no reason to be sad here whatsoever. I am going to see, like this week, I've got three nights, not quite consecutive, but like comedy at the Wedgwood Rooms, all with comics that are all going to Edinburgh, and they're doing their preview shows down at the Wedgwood Rooms. Yeah. I've been to our open studios this weekend. I've gone to the food festival. I had like half a lobster and chips at the food festival. I got absolutely drenched when the heavens opened. I had to run all the way back up through Palmerston Road, like literally, like I was in a wet t-shirt contest. That was not embarrassing at all. But like, You've been so busy.
You've been so busy. I read an entire book on Saturday.
Well, that's just what I did. Joyous.
I know, it was amazing. I've not sat down and read like that for ages. Lovely.
I mean, I just think there is no reason that there's like if people were feeling somewhat sort of like unmotivated, they have to just like like, that's exactly the thing I said to Billy the other day. So, what do you do if you don't have discipline or motivation? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, but you're just going to have to dig deep, get out.
Mm-hmm.
But there is, yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of distractions. And
No.
also quite a lot of the things in this island are cheap/free, which is quite handy if you've just like spent on a wedding.
Spent all your money on a wedding. Yeah.
So yeah. So
Wow.
she's like a fellow island dweller. You probably actually could be like, right, I'm going to go and find Emma. I know where she lives. I could basically work out where this is.
Yeah, I was just thinking that she's going to be like turning for the Wedgwood room, like, come on, make me feel better.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let me show you my pictures. Be like, yes, thank you. Good. Yes, I do know who she is.
Right, what else have we got? There was one more, and it was from Carolanne. And she wants to talk about what hair trends you think are coming up, because she's been doing a lot of Hollywood waves recently, and she wants to know what is next.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? Wedding hair. It's such a demographic-y, class-based, like, giveaway. It's like, it's just very, very, it's a kind of really weird thing. I was actually just looking at Philippa Lepley's feed this morning. I mean, I love Philippa. Like, years ago, we used to stock her dresses. And she's one of those people that is just an absolute institution, I think, in British bridal. And she has quite a lot of brides, obviously. Her dresses are not cheap. So she had this bride of hers called Eliza Manners. It's on her stories at the moment, who's got a really beautiful high neck, very formal dress. She's obviously marrying into the aristocracy, or is the aristocracy or something. I have no idea.
Well, that tiara, wow.
That tiara is like, that's had to be broken out of a museum, do you know what I mean, to get that. So I think you can't be doing like a Hollywood wave. If you look at quite a lot of Philippa's brides, for example, and we're going to acknowledge that these people are all wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that many Hollywood waves there.
No.
They've
all got sleek updos, haven't they?
Because quite often they've got to show off a high neck formal dress and the family jewels. So it's quite an interesting thing to think of with that kind of wedding thing. Is like, if you've got a formal wedding, I mean, I love Philippa, but casual she ain't. So yeah, no, that is like, so some part of that dictates what your hair is going to be. Do you know what I mean? Well, I feel like quite a lot of the people that might be saying Hollywood wave would be, probably younger.
Yeah.
In very much like the kind of people that would have said that they wanted all those plaits and fishtail plaits and flower crowns a few years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a moment, and I think having a moment is great. I love a trend. I love getting on one, getting off one. So I think that probably the Hollywood waves, is that kind of thought. Do you know what I mean? It's probably more youthful, more Sabrina Carpenter-ish, more people that are involved, influenced by pop culture. So I would say that's quite a definite sort of youth-based. A youth-based kind of trend, I would have thought. So, but I mean, I think, you can again get to that very, with everything with weddings, get to a point where you're so involved in looking at everything that you forget that you just parachute into this like business, like in your wedding year, and then you leap straight out of it again. Do you know what I mean? This is not something that you're going to necessarily realise. I mean, I love when my brides just have like quite a strong centre parting and pull their hair right back, not up, not down, just straight back. Do you know what I mean? And I love that, because I think that quite a lot of young women like do use their hair as a sort of comfort blanket, and I love just seeing people's faces. Do you know what I mean? I think there's something.
I'm just chuckling at that, like, haha, I wouldn't do that.
So beautiful.
Always hiding behind my hair.
Yeah, you are. But so many people do hide behind their hair. Do you know what I mean? It's literally a blanket. So, which is, again, reasonable. But I can't remember if I've said this on the podcast before, when Ben asked me to comment on someone's Hollywood wave thing the other day. So she had her hair down one side like this. And if you imagine that you walk down the aisle and your groom's people are on your right, and the groom is on the right, or whoever. I'm going to assume a heterosexual traditional wedding here for the moment. Excuse me, do not cancel me. But yeah, this girl had this kind of thing down, and I was like, and I stood as if I was the groom. I was like, I can see the tip of your nose. That's it. I can't see your jawline. I can't see your cheekbones. I can't read anything. It's basically Cousin It, the bridal version. So you kind of also got to think that people really do want to see you, like really want to see that emotion. They really want to kind of breathe that in your face. And if you're like, I think quite a lot of the pictures that get circulated as well, whether it's the kind of like, joyous coming out of church, bouquet aloft, like kind of confetti moments. You don't really, you're looking at the joy, you're not looking at the hairdo.
No.
So I feel like that's, I think that's the kind of thing that you want to be able to like let your public, let your people, let your congregation, let your guests see that joy, see that kind of like, I would be totally down for someone having a complete retro beehive. Do you know what I mean? I would be down for anybody having any kind of hairdo. Probably not ready for the curtains to come back yet. And I still don't really love an updo with curly sideburns. Do you know what I mean? That's still not my favourite thing.
No.
And I don't like an ear coming out of a hairdo. So if your hair's back like that, I don't like to see an ear
poking out
of the kind of swept back hair that just looks a bit Planet of the Apes. So yeah, that. But yeah, I feel like I think we had the conversation, but I do think you can't, you've got to look at it as like, there's got to be a class based, there's got to be a faith based look at this, there's got to be a fashion based look. It's good. There's a lot of things going on there. Do you know what I mean? And I think, but my most, I think an updo generally is sensible.
Yeah.
It lasts. It's, do you know what I mean? It's weatherproof. It's people can see your face. It doesn't have to be horrible. You don't have to look like a prom queen. It doesn't have to be a Croydon facelift. But I think it is, on the whole, like quite a sensible thing to do, and quite timeless. Like faces don't go in and out of fashion.
No, so true.
Well, I suppose they do actually. Now, when we think that model last week was the week before, had been on a previous shoot where and she was just had the most heavenly face. And that the stylist on the previous shoot told her to get a lip flip.
I'm still like astounded at that. That's crazy.
So yeah.
Like, she didn't even have small lips either. And it's like she had quite a big
pouty, gorgeous mouth. Yeah, gorgeous just generally all over it, inside and out. Lovely.
Yes, and we do have photos from that now, and they are gorgeous. So we're very excited to share those, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And lots of videos coming out.
Yeah.
But we spoke about that last week. But now we're at 33 minutes, and we just need to talk about some new dresses that have arrived. We've got 3 more new dresses from Jesus Peiro. So do you want to give us a little rundown?
A little rundown of the little dresses. Yeah, absolutely. But I think so. Have you put the numbers with the ones that they are?
I think they're in order. So 2635 is the top one.
The bow boobs.
With the bow boobs, yeah.
Okay, so this arrived. I put it on one person at the weekend, and it was ghastly.
Oh no!
No, not the dress. It was just terrible. And the mum was like, "That's horrible." I was like, "Yeah, I can't disagree." No. I think this needs to be on. You wouldn't think so necessarily, but I think it needs to be on someone quite petite. The bow is a great strategy if you aren't big busted. It gives interest over the bust line and creates a bust shape without putting big false boobs in there. It's charming. I think it's for a petite ingenue looking girl. It is a lovely dress, but yeah, it's not for someone tall, I don't think necessarily, and I'm not sure that it's for anyone with a bit of a bust. And I did have all my favourite kind of brides on Saturday, which was people with boobs. So we were in the boob club together discussing what was good and was not good about getting like dressed for your wedding. So this one is, I don't have anything to say about it that's, I mean, like how I've seen it on people at the moment, because it literally arrived Friday, put it on the first person Saturday. So that is like a kind of like, but I love it. It's kind of, it comes from a long line of Jesus Peiro dresses that have got that preppy Upper East Side, like sundress vibe. So it's formal but sweet. And like, that's a good sweet, not a bad sweet. It's not sickly sweet. It's just charming. So I love it. So that's very good.
Hopefully you'll find the right person to wear it.
Oh, I will. It really reminds me of quite a lot of the V-neck dresses we've had from them in the past that have done really well. I'm just trying to think of one off the top of my head. I can't think of one, but yeah, it will be like, it will be great. But I just, as I say, it was just one of those ones where like the mum and I had to agree straight away that it wasn't the one for her daughter. So yeah, that is kind of good.
Fair enough. Okay, 2651 is the one with like kind of like peplum.
Yeah, this one really surprised me getting this. I thought that it was a column dress with a detachable peplum. It isn't.
Oh.
It's a skirt, and then the peplum is attached to the top.
Oh, okay.
So I have a feeling that Jesus Peiro are going to dislike me intensely as I brief in multiple variations of this. However, it's a really lovely new satiny Mikado. So the column, I don't want to use the F word, i.e. fishtail.
No.
Or the other
mermaid.
the F or the word, ick. And then the other one that's more like ick, that makes me want to scratch my own skin off, is the phrase fit and flare. I mean, I literally behave. No one should ever use that word. Yeah. I'm thinking fit and flare. Are you thinking you don't have any style or taste whatsoever? Because that is what it's saying to me when I hear that. So nobody ever used the phrase fit and flare. It's horrific.
Yeah, I do have to admit, I do use fishtail and mermaid on the website in the description.
What, for SEO purposes?
Yeah, for SEO. I've never ever used fit and flare, and I never will. So.
Okay, I would say can we call this a fluted column?
Oh yeah, nice.
A fluted column, yeah.
Yes.
So it's a
it
slim dress.
It sounds a bit like a glass, but like a wine glass.
Fluted column, that's fine. Fluted column. It's very lovely. I love the razor sharp straight edge. I also love that we've got a very graphic way of doing the current hip definition. You know, like women's bodies shouldn't be fashionable and different zones of our bodies shouldn't be fashionable. We all know that, but nevertheless, the hip is having a moment at the moment. So this is a good way of doing it, and it's a good way. I mean, also allow that's just quite a good way of like hiding a bit of a bloat and giving a bit of a hip without putting drag queen padding on. So yeah, it's really lovely. Yeah, I was surprised. I actually spoke to Mary, my agent, was like, do I remember this correctly? But I think there's going to be some way that we can make that as a detachable thing that goes over a column dress. I was even surprised when we got it for the shoot. It actually didn't really work on Ruby the model, so that's why we didn't use it. But I was like, oh, okay, I was going to use that to put all the different jackets with. Didn't.
No,
so.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, but lovely. Again, I haven't had it on anyone because it arrived Friday and it just wasn't. Like, it's really weird. Anyone else that has a boutique just will know that you're like, some weeks, like some parts of your dresses just don't get tried, or like just like, why is nobody doing this? And you have like just weeks where everybody wants one kind of look or another kind of look. It's not particularly zeitgeist, it's totally random, but it just wasn't the week when either of those were going to go on anyone. And also similarly the next one that you've got on the list as well,
2652.
Yeah.
This is weird actually, because I thought it was like a detachable collar, but it's like a collar that's attached to the back of the dress. I don't understand how you get this on.
Well, it's sort of like you would imagine that you've got invisible sleeves.
Oh, okay.
So you'd put it on and then do the collar up. Imagine you've put your arms through something. It's got a little whiff of like S&M about it, hasn't it?
It has. Like, is it? Oh, is there like a zip along the top as well, at the neck? Is it?
For me, I will have insisted that it's got buttons all the way around. Let me have a look at Dropbox and see where it is. This is the one that the editorial photo, and I don't care if Marion hears this when she's walking the dog or whatever she's doing. The editorial photo of this is absolutely diabolical. I mean, I've got two photos that we could possibly use, both where the model is sitting down and the other one where she's sitting down with her back to the camera. Both of these are just bad photos and do nothing to advance the cause of this dress. And you have to really scroll in hard to see that this is made out of a sort of like a plissé fabric as well, like quite a sort of interesting fabric. I mean, the core of the bodice of this dress is the same as 2316, 2403, 2318. So like it's the bodice line that is the bodice is an absolute winner. I think we were discussing at Barcelona that we could probably think of a way of having that collar as a detachable item, but to get it in quickly, we basically just had it with the collar included in it.
Was. Yeah.
But it is also like, I mean, the Nangler is still popular, the old neck scarf, neck dangler. So this is the way of having a Nangler
that doesn't like come off.
That is easy to manage. Yeah, absolutely. And it's very easy to imagine the dress without that collar because it's basically like 2318 without the overtop. So yeah, it's really good.
I do really like the texture of the fabric. The
texture's great. It's really lovely. Obviously you can just get it in a regular satin or Mikado or anything as well if you want to. But it's I always love the fact and support Jesus Peiro on choosing their different fabrics because they just make things more interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Danielle Franco pleated bodices, which is, a good thing. She's got quite a lot of those at 12,000 of your pounds. This is not 12,000 pounds, so that's good. Yeah, so, and then also we had another celebrity wedding this week, didn't we?
We did, yes. Mel B from the Spice Girls. What are your thoughts?
Well, on the really amazing side of things, yay, let's have an unapologetic 50-something getting married, and, her well-documented like crap people that she's been with, and the abuse that she's gone through, and the survivor thing about it. I mean, it just makes me feel like we've got. I mean, I know that I was a bit about Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos's whatever, just because tone deaf billionaires are quite hard to feel anything for, really. So. But with Mel B, I just think this is great. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's another silencer to the... I mean, God, do you remember years ago, people would be like, oh, second wedding, you're not wearing white, are you? Or, I've had a child, you're not wearing white. So, like, it's further kind of like, how far we've come as far as that goes. How fabulous you can be at 50, how turning 50 is nowhere like it used to be. Do you know what I mean? It just isn't. It's just not a giving up sort of like thing. I had a little scroll back down through her Instagram feed, saw a hen do where everyone was on a hen do wearing classic scary Spice leopard skin like swimsuits and things like this. So my overall feeling of this is one of joy, love, and congratulations. A couple of things though. It's the white flowers. What are they? Not in white. What are they? What colour is that? Doesn't go. It looks crap. Please, everybody, do not just have a single white bouquet. It doesn't match the colour of the dresses. It doesn't photograph right. It looks yellow. And it doesn't honour the beauty of the flower.
No. More
than anything else. It just looks like a blob. You might as well be carrying a kind of pillowcase or something. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't look nice.
It just feels like a bit like just a token bouquet. Like, oh, you need to have a bouquet. Here's some flowers.
Yeah, it's almost like just someone went to a petrol station forecourt and just put a ribbon around it. And I'm very certain that's not the case. So and particularly when you're next to tartan and you've got colours that you can lean into, I would do something else with that. And whilst we're on the subject of that, I did put this on Insta stories, the pearls don't match any of it either.
No, they were very like harsh next to the dress,
Optical
weren't they?
white next to an ivory dress, next to a yellow bouquet. So I do think you've got to kind of like source those things really well. I know that she had a Justin Alexander and a Justine something, just someone, Josephine Scott, 2 dresses from a regular boutique, which again, as an independent retailer, I'm like, yes, regular, like quite a famous person, go to a regular boutique and buy 2 dresses. That's great. Totally down for that. I think that's incredible. I think that's great for the boutique. It's great for those brands. But again, the only like the little twitchy bit of me, I can't help seeing that those are just fake buttons on the back. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose if you have and these are import dresses, so that means that they're made in, big factories overseas. Justin Alexander himself, Justin Warshaw, came out quite strongly on LinkedIn and said that his dresses are made in China, Vietnam and Myanmar. And we know that that's the case, and that's the only way that you can scale production. And so their dresses, maybe they're great. Do you know what I mean? He's great. Everything about them is great. But the snob in me can't help but like going, could you just have no buttons and just a zip? Or if you're going to have some buttons, could you put some loops around them? Do you know what I mean? So they actually function. So I would have personally, to classy up the back of that dress a bit, I would have taken the buttons off probably, so that you'd got a clean lined concealed zip. Because the fit's beautiful, design's lovely. Yeah, those are my only kind of and it's but I don't want anyone to take it away anything from the kind of joy that I feel for really positive examples of 50-something women living their best life and investing in themselves and in love at that age. Yeah. But yeah, those are just a couple of little tweaky bits that just caught my eye, that I was just But then so did the guy, the Duchess of, the Duke of Westminster last year, richest person in the country. I was like, why can I see the edge of the board on your aisle with some horrible stuck down carpet on it?
It's just attention to detail, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that those are the sort of things that
There was another celebrity wedding. Daisy Lowe got married, and I loved her Vivienne Westwood dress. You just can't go wrong. Her wedding was great.
Yeah, it looked really good. Can I just say the dress was great. No shade on the dress. Everything fantastic. She looked great. Some of her after looks were also really good, and also her bridesmaids were like a tour de force, I thought.
Yes, I think she wore Annie's Ibiza.
She had a cape or something for an Annie's Ibiza cape or something.
I did like that she changed into combat boots to go with the dress for some of the pictures after. I thought that looked really cool.
Yeah, and also for all of those people that ask us difficult questions about dads and things, she had her stepdad, didn't she? What's his name? Goffey from Supergrass.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, and her actual dad, who is the one from Bush that was married to Gwen Stefani. She's like, oh yeah, the dads. that is sorry, but Perla, Daisy Lowe, that's a family of power women, isn't it?
It is.
Danny Goffey and the man that was married to Gwen Stefani. Yeah, I know, literally. Gavin Rossdale. There we go. I've got it eventually. So yeah, she had both of her, her biological father and her stepfather walk her down the aisle, which was nice. Yeah. So I think that those are things that we've been asked on the podcast. Really, are things like that. How do we include these people?
Yeah. And
I think there was a kind of bit where I seem to remember, I'm not raking gossip, but it was definitely in the public domain that I think Paolo didn't realise that Gavin Rossdale was the biological father. So I don't know whether the other father was the one that they thought was the biological father that wasn't. But anyway, that is still it's really, I think that was really nice to see, because those are the kind of questions that actually people really do ask us, more than they ask us about whether a white matches a dress or whether a button should do up or not do up. Do you know what I mean? That's just my hyper focus on that, which is, that's my bad. I feel like we've actually had a fact-led podcast today after last week's kind of what we say.
I don't even remember last week's podcast. I was so tired.
It was not as crap as I thought, actually. I did listen to it back, but I was
I have no recollection of that.
It's probably not. It's not. It wouldn't be one I would put forward for, like, an award.
No. What did we even talk about?
Nothing. We had nothing to talk about. I think that's basically the problem. We talked about me dropping, or Marshy dropping chicken fat on the floor in the kitchen. I mean, literally,
Yes,
we
did,
might
didn't
as
we?
well have narrated paint drying for as interesting or as helpful as it would have been. So,
Oh well, not every episode has
I
to
tell you what
be
was quite interesting
riveting.
actually this week, though, just as an aside, like reader feedback. I'd got I was checking somebody's Sophia Villar dress on them, and this week, and of course it really hadn't sort of, there's these kind of things where I like very like factual on here, and I'm like get pissed off because they supplied someone else, and I was like, well, that's it, you're dropped. And to have a bride go, but that was very rude of them, wasn't it? And I was like, yes, it was rude of them. Yes, you're right. So it's also that thing of just, like, it's quite nice to know that people are listening to the podcast that are currently like getting dresses from us. And that, and for them to be like, why did you drop them? They don't need to ask me why, they know, and they appreciate that reason.
It's a way of like staying informed, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just knowing what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not really going to put that level of, slightly angry rant in a newsletter.
No. Just a monthly newsletter that's just a say.
Things that pissed me off this month. I literally know. It's like, that's not going to happen. So so I feel like a packed program full of fact. And then you've got loads of work to do.
I've got so much to do. I'm not even going to talk about it. But next week we have got going to have a normal weekly episode on the Monday morning, and then straight after that, Chloe is coming on as a guest.
Yay! This, for everybody, is Chloe Keenan, one of my long-time models, muses, all-round lovely person, and whose wedding I'm going to in October in Venice. So hello, I am just going to be like the Oprah going to the wedding. Not the mother, but a general maternal figure of wisdom, sage advice. So she's coming on. And also I bumped into Freya from Freya Rose in a wine bar on Saturday night. I was half asleep, slightly delirious, not from the wine, let me tell you, but we reached out to her about the Perla event for Jesus Peiro, so we're going to get Freya Rose involved in that, because I think, apart from anything else, she wants to be a guest on the podcast, and it would be really good because Mother of Pearl, which we've lent in, we're now calling that collection Mother of Perla. So she works very strongly with Mother of Pearl, and loads and loads of really incredible artisans. And I don't think that artisanal process that she uses as clear as it should be. We've obviously got her, we sell quite a lot of her earrings and jewellery. We don't do shoes that much. I can't, it's not that I don't like people's feet, but if people look all disappointed and crushed that their foot is wide, or their instep is this, or they've got a bunny, and I'm like, and whereas if someone says to me that they've got like a, but scoliosis, big boobs, and they're like 4 foot with a wedding dress, I'm your girl. I can get that sorted, So yeah, she wants to be a guest as well, so that's good. Yes,
amazing. And
guest
all the information about the Perla event is coming out this week, so look out for that.
Also, I really want to get Carolanne on as a guest.
I messaged her this morning, and she said after the school holidays.
After the school holidays?
Yeah. She's not going to manage it during the summer. So September, we'll get her on.
Yeah, well, then she'll have a whole wedding season of tea to spill about. Like, Carolanne, is a wedding makeup artist and hairdresser that we use a lot. I famously don't like people touching my hair and face because I am not weird at all. So I use her a lot, but she's one of the people that really knows what goes on a wedding morning. She's there.
Yeah. She said to us the other day at the content day that she listens every week, and she's always just shouting at us. I was like, well, come on and shout at us in person.
Yeah. Because no, bridesmaids don't help. They never help. And all those first look photos are really staged.
Yeah, it's not the sweet romantic moment you think it is. It's really stressful.
Yeah, all of that. So there's loads of tea to be spilt there. So I think that'll be a really great guest.
Definitely.
I think as we approach second year of the podcast, though, we're going to have to evolve.
Yeah,
we can't just keep doing it like this. Do you know what I mean? We probably do need to do more guests.
Yeah, I would like to get a guest once a month if we can.
Yeah.
that would be good. So if you're listening and you also are shouting back at us every week, come and do it for real.
Even if you don't like us, I would love that. Bring it on. I'd literally,
Let's get Emma having an argument. I'll referee.
I'm much more mellow these days. I don't argue so much.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. That's not an argument.
Okay, right. On that note, let's go. I've got too much to do.
Okay, babe. See you later.
So, see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.
You'd like to know, wouldn't you? You'd like to know, wouldn't you? You'd like to know.